India's COVID-19 vaccination program is getting underway. The country aims to inoculate 1/4 of its 1.3 billion people by July. The vaccines, both made in India, have been approved for emergency use. Prime Minister Narendra Modi said healthcare and other frontline workers will be among the first to get the shot. India has recorded over 10 million cases of the virus, the second highest number in the world after the United States.
The moment many Indians have waited for. One of the biggest vaccine rollouts in the world. The government plans to reach around 300 million people by July. Carried live on national TV, Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed the nation via video conference, saying every willing Indian can get a shot by the end of the year. Speaking directly to the country's health workers, Modi promised they would have priority. The first vaccine will go to those who need it most, those who must risk catching the disease. They will get the first jabs. India has approved the emergency use of 2 vaccines, neither of which requires ultra-cold storage. With over 10 million infections, India has recorded the second highest number of COVID-19 infections in the world, after the United States.
Of course, it's a positive thing. We have been going through this pandemic for a long time now, and I think it's really high time that we got the vaccine. But I mean, it's going to take some time for everyone to reach the vaccine to reach everyone.
It's a good thing that the vaccine is here. We should also get it. Our work and livelihood has been affected because of the coronavirus. India has a lot of experience with mass vaccinations. Each year, tens of millions of children are treated for other diseases through a nationwide immunization program. It is this system the government now hopes will help them fight one of the biggest health emergencies the country have ever faced.
Oh, for more, I'm now joined by our Delhi Bureau Chief, Amrita Chima. Amrita, great to see you. With more than 1 billion people, India's vaccination program will be one of the world's largest. How is it going so far?
You know, Anthony, there's a great sense of excitement in the country today in what is being described as the Vaccination Day. Now, the Prime Minister, Narendra Modi, launched the Vaccination Day with an emotional tribute to healthcare workers. He said at a time when the country was in great despair and people were losing their loved ones, it was these health workers who gave us hope. Now, Modi also praised India's scientists and said that they had actually brought out 2 made-in-India vaccines, as he called them, which were launched today. In terms of preparation, now India's been preparing for this day for several weeks. There were many dry runs across the country. There were preparation drills. And of course, India's used to organizing big events. We have elections here every 5 years, and that's a huge logistical exercise. And as well as the National Immunization Program, which is being used as a platform for this vaccination drive.
And from the dry runs to the real thing itself, how is the rollout going to look in these critical early weeks? Who will get priority?
The priority is being given to healthcare workers. In fact, the first person to get the jab was a sanitation worker in his early 30s at the All India Medical Institute in Delhi. The first priority will be there for the health workers, followed then by what are called frontline workers. That's members of the armed forces, the police, and other paramilitary organizations associated with the government. After that, you have people who are above 50 who will get the vaccination, and people who are under 50 but who are deemed to be at risk from this disease.
Amrita, India is far from alone, but it does remain one of the worst affected countries worldwide. Are there any signs the country has made progress in the pandemic?
You know, Anthony, it is clear that India is the second most affected country by this pandemic. But in recent months, things have been improving. The number of cases and new infections has gone down dramatically. The number of recoveries has increased. But at the same time, the government and healthcare officials are warning people not to let their guard down. The virus is still very much in the country, and they're asking people to stay vigilant. They're asking them to maintain social distancing, wearing masks all the time, and washing their hands. But on the whole, some people are describing the start of this vaccination drive as the beginning of the end of the pandemic in India.
Delhi Bureau Chief Amrita Chima, thank you so much. Okay, now for a look at some of the other developments in the pandemic. And Pfizer will slow the delivery of its vaccine to EU countries in the coming weeks as it upgrades production capacity at its plant in Belgium. But the drug maker says all doses ordered by the bloc for the first quarter will be delivered on time. Coronavirus infections have spiked in Mexico, where over 21,000 new cases registered on Friday. That is about twice the number of a week earlier. The country also registered more than 1,100 COVID-19 deaths. China has blamed a recent coronavirus outbreak on cases from overseas. The country has seen clusters of infections in Beijing and surrounding provinces.